The Sussex Police and Crime Panel met sometime after 10:35 a.m. on Monday the 26th of November 2012. After the Principal Democratic Services Officer of West Sussex County Council had conducted an uncontested election of a Conservative chairman, with only one abstention, the meeting proper started. The first noteworthy event was the welcome given to a visitor.
Can I take also this opportunity to welcome our new Commissioner for Sussex, Katie Bourne, with her Chief Exec, Dan Stedman.
I was surprised by the collocation of the two phrases Chief Exec and Dan Stedman. Stedman had appeared in a YouTube video called Song of the Sussex Police Authority as one of the executives running that ineffectual show of grovelling to the police. The chairman's mention of Stedman's position was confirmed by the Commissioner in answer to a statement in the guise of a question from Councillor Smith.
A lot of the areas where crime is lowest, it's because of the effectiveness of partnerships.
Wise words, and yes, Chief Exec's writing it down. Thank you.
This contradicts the PCC website, on which Stedman is not the only Sussex Police Authority officer visible in this photograph. On this official site, the Commissioner is said to be supported by Dan Stedman, Deputy Chief Executive, as well as by a senior policy officer, a policy officer, another policy officer, another policy officer, another policy officer, another senior policy officer, a communications manager, a communications officer, an executive assistant, a deputy chief finance officer, and a solicitor. Perhaps the website was changed because of a comment made by Councillor Smith during Agenda Item 8, Procedure for Confirmation Hearings. After Smith had queried whether the panel should have confirmed any appointment to that post, the chairman referred the matter to the West Sussex Principal Democratic Services Officer.
Andy.
It's merely a nuance, really, but I was quite intrigued by the Schedule 1, which is concerning the appointments of PCC Chief Executive. One of the areas that we're all very interested to find out was what the future was for our ex and outgoing Sussex Police Authority. Now, the PCC referred to Mr Stedman as the Chief Executive. Presumably that's a new appointment, and in theory, according to this, it should have come to us.
Chairman, I think I might be able to provide some clarity on that. We would have to double-check the situation to make certain. But what I understand the situation is that in the case of officers of police authorities, if they're transferring across to the new PCC, I don't believe those posts have to go through a confirmation hearing. I think any others would. We will just take that away to double check that is the case, because I can't quote exactly where. I can't quote off the top of my head exactly where that rule is, but that's my understanding. But we will certainly clarify that to make certain for you.
So we'll have to wait and see. After the chairman had mentioned apologies of absence from 3 first-team members and the presence of 2 substitutes, he moved on to the second item on the agenda.
Right, our next important task is an appointment of a vice-chairman. So if I can have nomination for vice-chairman, or nominations for vice-chairman. Right. Yep. John Unger, okay. And seconded? Trevor?
Thank you, Chairman. I'd like to nominate David Elkin as Vice-Chair.
Okay, and that's seconded. Thank you. Any others? Right, the first nomination we had then was Mr Unger, so those in favour? 2, 3, 4, 5. Those against? Okay. And now can we have those in favour of David Elkin? I think that's fairly clearly carried.
Yes, he said that 5 voted for Unger, Liberal Democrat, so Elkin, though he isn't here, is elected, and we have a Conservative Party Commissioner, a Conservative Party Panel Chairman, and a Conservative Party Vice Chairman. There are 8 Conservative hands raised, and the chairman, off-screen left, could make a 9th. There are 14 members on screen, and the chairman makes 15. 3 members apologise for absence and 2 substitute are present. The panel has 20 members, so 3 are out of sight or not here at all.
Next important item is declarations of interest. Does anybody have any declarations of interest?
During agenda item 3, the chairman deliberately switched off his microphone for 16 seconds, though the panel's constitution under panel arrangements paragraph 10 says, the presumption is that all formal items will be considered in public, except for those that meet the Part 2 confidentiality criteria of Schedule 101A of the Local Government Act 1972. Right. Moreover, one member's microphone did not produce a single audible word, though its light was turned on several times, and 2 microphones hampered communication because they produced severe 50 Hz hum, presumably caused by faulty cabling. The major item in the meeting was agenda item 7, Police and Crime Commissioner. The Commissioner was invited to outline her vision for her role. She spoke for 10 minutes using off-screen slides for a presentation. I'm only recording the 3 main points with explanatory detail about the second.
The structure of the Police and Crime Plan, as you can see, there's 3 parts to it, all equally as important as each other. One being engagement, and that's with the community. Then the partnerships, very, very important. And I was particular in my election process to be a big supporter of community safety partnerships. And I've said and maintained all along that where they work extremely well. And I will be very keen to see those going forwards and to strengthen them. Those that aren't working so well, obviously I see my role as helping to really strengthen those where they are. But I've already set up meetings with the chief executive officers of both the county councils and the unitary, and I'm in the process, and the leaders, of course, and I'm in the process of setting up meetings with all the council leaders from the districts and boroughs, as well as meeting with the representatives from SALC, the Sussex area of local councils. And as I said, I'm very, very keen to come and meet your community safety partnerships. So if you haven't already, let me know the dates of when they meet, please do, and I'll make sure that they're fitted into my diary. And the final part is obviously the police side of police and crime, and setting the vision, making sure that the police deliver on the priorities that we set out for them.
The Commissioner then answered questions from members of the panel. Having watched more than 20 minutes of those questions a few days ago, I mostly remember members riding hobby horses, though allowances and/or expenses could have been involved, members preening feathers, and members asking for money, to which the answers, sometimes after brief conferring between the Commissioner and the Chief or Deputy Chief Executive, were usually yes or the budget is still being worked on. As no one asked a searching question about Sussex Police and the way they work, which might have involved the stated government goal of improving police accountability, I'll end this video with just a single question and answer, featuring the first representative of the people to question the Commissioner on what had been characterised by her as an historic occasion.
Can we hope that you'll be able to answer a few questions that members may have? Right, Trevor, you want to kick off, and then Warren.
Thank you for that. I think it was very full and very insightful. I didn't declare an interest earlier, which I will do now. I'm also a county councillor for East Sussex, and my particular speciality is children's services. So I would like at some point some information about how you would see any grants that currently come to adult social care and children's services, like targeted support. I'd like to have thoughts of that. But my opening comment was, was about your commitment to the equality agenda. The ward I represent is one of the most deprived in the South East, Central St Leonard and Ginseng. We have got a high number of people from black and minority ethnic background. I didn't hear you mention it, but I know you've only got a couple of minutes to speak. And also the commitment to gay, lesbian and transgender. These are the issues that are not only important to my own Central St Leonard, but throughout Sussex. So I'd like to have some to know any thoughts on these issues.
Yes, thank you, Councillor. Equalities and diversity will be throughout. We already have a policy in place in the Office of PCC anyway. And with regards to the LGBT community, I'm particularly aware of the needs that they have. And in fact, during my campaign, made 2 visits with the LGBT groupings, one in East Sussex and also down in Brighton as well. So, but obviously it's an ongoing conversation, and I take that note on board, and we'll continue.